Yes, this is DJ Ski.
I'm Jeff Wilson.
Hey guys, Andy Broom, Vice President CGC Cards.
Hey, this is Jason Howard with Panini.
Yo, I'm Q Harrison.
Hey gang, this is Tom Verrilli. I'm the Chief Product Officer at Whatnot.
This is Teapot from Sports Card Investor.
This is Adam Rips with VFriends.
What's up? This is Aaron from Slab Stocks.
Hey, this is Clark from 5 Card Guys and the Cards to the Moon podcast.
Hey guys, this is Jay with Wild Card.
What's up everyone? This is Duke Dodson from Graybows.
What's up everybody? This is Chris Kelsey from Nash Cards.
What's up everyone? This is Mark Hill from My Card Post.
This is Ray Schulte.
This is Chase Krim.
This is Cody from Texas Roadshow Shop.
This is Mark Aaron from WSB Radio in Atlanta, and you're listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show.
I'm loving the content.
Loving the content here.
I'm loving the content here on the Sports Card Strategy Show.
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 And I'm telling you, the Sports Card Strategy Show.
This is the Sports Card Strategy Show with your man, Paul Hickey. What's good?
Be sure to subscribe for year-round advice on keeping your portfolio up to date.
Part of the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network, the #1 place for advice on how to make money flipping sports cards. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, there is no off-season.
There is no off-season.
There is no off-season.
And there's no off-season.
You already know, there is no off-season.
No off-season!
All right, you ready to rock?
Ready to go.
When you get into this game, the reason why you pay someone like Paul Hickey to get your sports card strategy together is because sometimes when you're starting out, you need perspective, you need wisdom, you need insights. And so he's been around the track enough times where he can actually coach you up and guide you. Doesn't mean he's going to take you to the promised land tomorrow, but you now have a coach by your side that can advise and kind of even create these pathways where you can get the education yourself. And that's a lot better than thugging it out on your own. Thugging it out on your own.
What? The kids better buy my rookie card now. Cause after this year, the price ain't coming down.
Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Paul Hickey. It's time to sit back, listen, learn, and earn with me on the Sports Card Strategy Show. Let's go, everybody. Monday, December 16th, getting ready to be smack dab in the middle of the holidays. You got your sports card strategy together going into 2025? That's what I want to know. Drop a comment below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, you can comment on Spotify. You can leave a 5-star review. You can comment on Apple. You can leave a 5-star review. You can follow me on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy, and you can DM me there if you really want to. But let me know, do you have your sports card strategy together for 2025? On today's episode, I'm going to rip some wax. I'm going to do something that I never do. Never say never, but it is not a sports card strategy. Ripping wax, let me repeat, ripping wax is not a sports card strategy. However, I bought a case of Bowman 2024 Bowman U Chrome football. And I also bought a hobby box of 2024 Bowman Draft Baseball. And so what's going to happen? Am I going to prove my own point correct on today's show? Am I going to get slaughtered ripping wax? I'm going to tell you how much I paid for the wax, and we're going to see what I pull on today's episode. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, don't worry. It's still going to be a great audio show. And before we get into, oh no, I ripped wax, what happened? Is ripping wax a total loss? From Bowman Chrome U Football 2024 and Bowman Draft Baseball 2024. We'll talk a little bit about the checklist. We won't get like in-depth into the checklist or anything like that, but you'll see a novice like me ripping wax. Like, I'm obviously a single flipper. Singles only. I'm a singles only type guy in the sports card flipping game. I am not a wax ripper. I am a novice wax ripper. So you're going to hear me, you're going to laugh at me, not knowing exactly what some of the parallels are and that sort of thing. But we're going to get into it. It'll be fun. And we'll see if I get slaughtered or not. On Wednesday's episode, I'll talk to Clark Kim of 5 Card Guys on really how to make money on 2024 Bowman Draft. I have an actual strategy at that. It is not to rip it, but I'm going to rip it today. And we're going to see if I get slaughtered or not. So it'll be interesting. I've ripped wax before on the Sports Card Strategy Show because I've done premium members only breaks on the Sports Card Strategy Show of Prism Football 2023 and Prism Basketball 2023. We got slaughtered on Prism Football, but we made money on Prism Basketball because we hit a big Wemby. And Jim Mint Sports Cards, one of our loyal premium members and one of our one-on-one members, got the Wemby in the break. Got the big Wemby in the break and made some money. So we made money on that as a family. We did not make money on Prism Football. So, and I've generally gotten slaughtered ripping wax. So I don't do it. It's a gamble. It's not a sports card strategy. I know a lot of you like to do it for fun, but I want to know, like, what's your real sports card strategy for 2025? For those of you who don't know mine, go back like a month ago, listen to the library of episodes, and you'll find mine. I'm focusing on 5 players for 2025 with 2 hall passes for Tops Now plays that come out. Before we get into ripping wax today, I want to go over some formula-based sports card rankings. So for those of you who are not familiar, we have sports card rankings at nooffseason.com. We're the only place anywhere that you can get sports card rankings. Nobody else ranks sports cards based on how much money you can make. Okay, so we have 3 categories. One is raw to grade, another is already graded, and another is graded to raw. And we have a formula, a mathematical equation that's slightly different for each of those tabs. So if you want to go get a free 30-day trial right now at nooffseason.com, you probably should. If you're already a premium member, you know what's up. So raw to grade takes into account the gem rate to understand what grade you're likely to get and what grades you're likely to get. And it gives you, I think the most important thing about it, though, is it gives you a target cost. And the target cost is based on the last 30-day average for the raw card. We also publish the last 30-day average for the PSA 9 and the last 30-day average for the PSA 10. And then that spits out, based on our mathematical equation, which takes into account gem rate, it takes into account your fees. So it gives you a projected average sale price and then a return on investment, a projected return on investment that is like a net return on investment. And but the most important thing is that it ranks the cards based on the projected return on investment. So if you were to go grade the cards on the raw to grade, in order of how they're listed on the website, this is the order in which you should try to go find gradable copies at the target cost and grade them. The projected return on investment is a number that is based on the net profit that you should get if you either get a Gem Mint 10 or if you buy multiple copies of this card and your target cost across all of the copies that you bought averaged out. If your cost averaged out to the target cost, you should make this amount of money. However, it's not meant to say you're guaranteed to make this amount of money. It's really just a tool that prioritizes which cards you should go out and try to find, because there's millions and millions of cards out there. So I think without this, you'd be lost. A lot of you would be lost. Maybe not everyone. And that's why I built this tool. I originally built this tool for myself. The reason why is because I could go out and I could run a bunch of numbers individually for hundreds of cards, and I might find a few that I want to try to buy raw and grade. But until I compared all the cards against each other, I didn't have a priority list, a cheat sheet. So that's what this is. Now on the already graded tab, this is taking cards that are typically already graded in a PSA 10. Some of them will be in like a PSA 9, PSA 8, but those would be like older vintage cards that would be in here. But you'll see there's hundreds of cards that we rank against each other. And we update this consistently throughout every week. So on the already graded tab, you need a selling marker. You need to know, like, okay, when am I going to actually sell this card? But generally, we only put cards in here that have a selling marker. And we take a target cost of with a last 30-day average is your target cost, which is what you should try to buy it for. And then the projected average sale price is based on the last, depending on the card, the last 90 to 180-day average of the card. And we rank them based on projected return on investment as well. So there's no guarantee that you're going to hit the projected average sale price and make the amount of the net profit projected return on investment number. But again, it's ranking all these already graded cards against each other by the ones that have the most upside first based on historical data. So in our minds, there's a selling marker for each one of the cards on the already graded tab. And then you've got graded to raw. So graded to raw is actually what it says. You're going to buy a card that's already slabbed by a grading company. You're going to crack it out and you're going to sell it raw. The reason why is because the market has shown us that people pay more for raw cards than they do graded cards. And we're here to help you make money flipping sports cards. So what you can do for these cards, we have a last 30-day average target cost for the slab. That's what you're going to try to buy it for. And then we have a projected average sale price, which is a real last 30-day average for the raw card. So for tabs raw to grade, you don't need a selling marker. You just need to be good at hitting the target cost with a card that is potentially gemmable. And then sell it when you get it back. And then for the graded to raw tab, you don't need anything. You just need to be able to get it for the target cost. And then I guess be good at cracking it out, putting it in a one-touch, taking good photos of it and listing it raw. And really your strategy for that is going to be to list it in a buy it now for the graded to raw. Now the already graded is a little bit trickier, right? Because you're going to need to look at the rankings and say, which of these do I feel the most confident in actually achieving the projected average sale price based on what the target cost is? And we try to take out, knuckleheads that don't belong in here. We try to weed them out. We try to only leave cards in here that we feel will hit the projected average sale price at some point in the next 6 to 12 months. And so as the projected return on investment, like let's say you buy a card and the projected return on investment on the already graded tab starts to go down after you bought it, that's a good thing for you. Because that means it's actually going in the direction you want it to go in. We put a lot of work, a lot of time into our formula-based sports card rankings at nooffseason.com. There's nothing else like it. And again, quite simply, it's a cheat sheet. It's a recommendations engine ranking cards based on which ones have the best upside based on real data. It's not our opinions. It's based on real data. Now, this leads me into my next update, which is we're starting to publish. The way that we're publishing this is on the Sports Card Strategy Show here, and then we may add some different tidbits for premium members, but only premium members get the rankings and all the content at nooffseason.com. But on the Sports Card Strategy Show, I just thought it would be interesting to list a couple of different things. First of all, props to Jake, who's been in the lab. Jake is a team member at nooffseason.com. He's been in the lab and he's helping me update the rankings on a consistent basis. He's helping me update the data and also clean up the rankings, like cleaning out the crap from the rankings, making sure that we all feel like these would be cards that we would buy. And we learn things as we update the data. That's the whole point. Like we update the data and then we're like, holy crap, this is a great opportunity. So that's the value of it for you all. But as Jake is updating the rankings, I'm asking him to report back to me on changes. Like for example, on the raw to grade, which 5 cards have now moved up the most and are better opportunities to get into now than they were before. And then conversely, what's the opposite of that? Which 5 cards have gone down and used to be a good opportunity and are not anymore? And if they go down, that doesn't mean that if you just bought these cards and sent them to grading that you're screwed. That's not what it means. It just means it's not a good idea to do it if you were to go look at the rankings right now. The rankings are going to always be live in real time saying, do this or don't do this. If you get a card that's a negative, like if you look at the rankings and there's a negative projected return on investment in the right-hand column, fade that. If it's positive, you got an opportunity to make money. It's pretty much that simple. But you want to go in order from top to bottom, hence rankings, right? Okay. Which card has moved up the most? Travis Hunter, 2023 Bowman Chrome U first prospect base card. The reason why this has moved up the most is because of its upside in PSA 10. The last 30-day average of this in a PSA 10, $106. The target cost raw is still only $9. Based on the gem rate and the likelihood that you can find a gemmable copy, it has a 145% projected return on investment. Now that's up 132%. So that's up the most. Up next is a Paolo Banchero 2022 Crown Royale Kaboom number 20. So this is a rookie Kaboom number 20. And its target cost raw in the last 30 days is $999. Its PSA 10 upside is $3,800, and it also has a PSA 9 upside, which makes it, I think, really triggers it to be up top of the rankings right now, of $2,120. So it has a projected return on investment of 126%. That's up 99%. Number 3, for all you baseball fans and hot stove followers, Roki Sasaki is number 3. Roki Sasaki's, this would be his 2021 Topps Chrome NPB. And it's up 51%. Joe Burrow's Downtown is still has a negative ROI, but it's up the 4th most, 68%. And then Paolo Banchero 2022 Prism Silver Raw is up 40% as well. Now, the 5 biggest fallers, so cards that used to be investable earlier, several weeks ago, that have fallen the most over the last several weeks. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander Color Blast, down 115%. Brock Purdy Prism Base, down 103%. Tua Tagovailoa 2020 Optic Hollow, down 91%. Puka Nacua Silver PSA 10, down 82%. And James Wood, Bowman Chrome first, Bowman Chrome first. Let's see if it's an auto or not. I think it's an auto. James Wood. Yeah, James Wood Bowman Chrome first prospect auto is down 77% from a raw to grade standpoint. So a lot of like reasons why cards would go down from a raw to grade standpoint, with a projected return on investment going down, would be maybe the raw card is worth more now. So it's harder so you have to pay more to get it. More likely the PSA 10 price has come down. Also, it could be due to maybe PSA 9 and PSA 10 prices going down. It could be due to a lower gem rate, and then there's market factors as to why those things can happen. Sometimes increasing pop count But those are the things that we try to clean out, right? So now let's go to already graded. So already graded, top opportunities that didn't exist maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago that are up the most over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Paul Skeens. This is going to be a tops. Oh, I'm sorry. Graded to raw. Not already graded. Graded to raw. Top opportunities graded to raw now. Paul Skeens, 2023 Bowman draft. Purple refractor first in PSA 9. Okay. The PSA 9 of this costs $80 and the raw sells for $160. That's 100% return on investment. Paul Skeens, Sky Blue. '23 Bowman draft first, PSA 9. Sells for $46 in PSA 9. Sells for $75 raw. That's a 64% ROI. So those are up the most. The purple is up 82%. The sky blue is up 61%. We also have, now there's like some interesting cards in these rankings. You'll want to check them out. CD Lamb 2020 Prism Silver PSA 9 is up the next most. $23 card. And it's a $25 card raw. So there's not a whole lot of money that you'd make on that. You'd make 6%, but it's risen 53%. Klay Thompson has a 2012 Prism PSA 9. That is a $39 target cost. It sells raw $47. So that's up 38%. You can make 20% ROI on that. And then Paolo Banchero Prism Silver PSA 9 is up 32%. You can make 2% on that, cracking it out of a 9 and selling it raw. So not a huge thing, but some of these are huge things. So thanks to Jake for providing us with the data we needed to report on the risers and fallers in the formula-based sports card rankings. Another interesting thing that you guys may not know about that I wanted to let you know about is that if you're curious how to run your own cards from a raw to grade standpoint through the formula, we have a calculator for that. So we built a calculator to run your own raw cards through our raw to grade formula. So you put in the name of the card, target cost, grading fee, PSA 9 price, PSA 10 price, gem rate, and it shows you how to look up all this stuff. And it does the math for you in terms of the projected ROI, which is sweet. And then what I asked Jake to report back to me on is, of all the submissions through the raw to grade calculator, who were the 5 most searched athletes? Like who are the athletes that nooffseason.com premium members are most interested in grading? That's basically what this question answers. Number 5 and number 4. So basically tied for number 4, but number 4 and number 5, Kobe Bryant and Jordan Love. Kobe Bryant and Jordan Love. Number 3, Victor Wembanyama. Number 2, Shohei Ohtani. And number 1, CJ Stroud. So basically, Love, Kobe, Wemby, Shohei, and CJ Stroud are the top 5 athletes that premium members of nooffseason.com are interested in grading. And these will take into account basically a bunch of different cards that maybe we don't have listed in our formula-based sports card rankings yet. But we have hundreds of cards listed, and we also give you the opportunity to be like, hey, I don't see a card in here. I'm going to run it through the calculator, see where it ranks. So it's pretty cool. All right, everybody, now it's time to rip some wax. So what I've done is I've set up my my other camera here, and I'm going to see, let's see if I get slaughtered or if I actually do okay on this wax. And now I'm moving my mic over to next to, see my hands now. All right. And my audio might go a little off, but hopefully it'll stay good. Here, let me get my wax ready. All right, so first is going to be the Bowman Draft 2024 baseball. 3 chrome prospect autograph cards inside. And apologies in advance to those of you on Apple and Spotify who can't see this. Maybe go over to youtube.com/Paul Hickey to finish the episode. And normally our episodes are not like this, so stay tuned for Wednesday's ep, where Clark, Kim, and I from 5 Card Guys and Cards to the Moon podcast are going to talk more in depth about how to make money on this particular release from a sports card strategy standpoint. It's time to do what I don't normally do, gamble and rip some wax here. So let's get into it. I'm obviously hoping for Travis Bazzana or Jack Caglianone. I call him Caglianone. I don't care if you hate that or like it. That's what I call him. So I'm going to talk about why I don't like ripping wax. First of all, it's a gamble. It's expensive. This hobby box cost me, I think, $530. So I don't like that. Because chances are I'm not going to hit anything that's going to make me money. That's number one. Number two is like, there's so many cards in here that are not desirable. And I understand the way that the hobby economy works. I understand that we need to rip wax in order to have, like, we need to have commons and things like that in theory in order to have hits, right? Because the only reason anyone wants a hit is because it's rare. So you guys might be like, well, you know, Paul, be careful what you say, because we know you don't like ripping wax. You're very outspoken about that. But without wax, we wouldn't have the singles that you do love. And that's true. But that doesn't mean that I have to rip wax. You know, I don't have to. My audio sounds pretty good. All right, here's pack number 1. The other thing I don't like is like all the crap, like the packaging that I have to deal with, and then the extra cards that I don't like. Nobody, and there's honestly, I know like people in the hobby, content creators will be like, oh, just give them to kids. Kids don't even want this stuff. And if they do, it's like they don't care about it a year later. So it's a lot of waste. So in this release, you're going to get paper and chrome. So far, these are all paper cards. So you're seeing a lot of firsts. That's the cool thing about this release, is there are a lot of firsts. Now we're going to get into some chrome cards. You know, you see guys like Dylan Cruz. This card's not worth anything. This is like his basically this is the equivalent of like a second year Dylan Cruz card, because it doesn't have the first logo on it. Okay, Ethan Anderson, Orioles catcher. This is a chrome parallel. It looks like an aqua. And none of these cards have really hit the market yet. This is a die cut card. Top prospects in action, Dylan Cruz. Okay. I really, you know, pack number 1, nothing really. Pack number 2. There's 3. I should have 3 autographs. So I want a Bazzana or a Caglianone. Okay. That's what I want. Again, let me know what you think about this episode, guys. This is not a normal episode for us, but I did buy wax, and I want to essentially give you guys a look at 2024 Bowman Draft Baseball, talk a little bit about it, show you guys why I don't buy wax. Because look at all these, like, I got a Bowman, there's a bunch of Bowman paper first. So I'm not going to like read them all off. I mean, basically for those of you listening on Apple and Spot, okay, here's a Travis Bazzana paper first. So that could actually be worth sending into PSA to maybe try to be first to the market. I mean, that's really the play here. Here's a Bazzana Chrome first. So that's good. So in pack number 2, we've got a Bazzana paper first and a Bazzana Chrome first. And that's it. So, I mean, 2 cards from each pack that I've even pulled out to be slightly interesting. And there's 32 cards in a pack. So hobby box configuration here. 12 packs. 12 packs per box, 32 cards per pack. Most cards are paper in this release. There's a lot of firsts. That's the attraction, is that like these are all the guys that were drafted. I mean, not all the guys. Don't get me wrong. These are not all the guys, but a lot of the release, the purpose of the release is to put out the first cards from many of the top draft picks in 2024. So that's actually why this release is so popular and expensive, but it's a good rip. If you must rip, honestly, like those of you who are familiar with the premium podcast at nooffseason.com, if you must rip, this is a good rip because it gives you probably the best chance. Here's a Travis Bazzana insert draft first overall. I mean, look, like I might send the Bazzana cards into PSA and just try to be quote unquote first to the market, if you will, with those. Hopefully you guys like me doing something a little different. I never talk about ripping wax, so. And I think what I'm going to do is we're going to get through this hobby box of Bowman Draft 2024. And then I'll probably rip 1 box out of my case from 2024 Bowman U Chrome Football. Bryce Rayner is a prospect for the Tigers that I have a couple paper firsts of. I mean, again, it doesn't really matter typically. Here's another Travis Bazzana paper first. So, I mean, if my Travis Bazzana paper first gem, I could be in good shape, but I don't know that like any other prospect paper first would do anything. Roman Anthony insert, a Ethan Scheffelbein, Detroit Tigers first, another like sort of aqua insert. He's a pitcher, so it's probably not worth anything. We've got some premium pod episodes at nooffseason.com on why pitchers aren't investable. Not all pitchers. Shohei, Skeens, Roki, maybe Kumar Rocker if you want to stretch. Okay. Next pack. Just trying to fly through here. Not naming all my cards. Jack Caglianone first. That's probably going to go to PSA. That's a paper, though. Here's a Dylan Cruz green paper out of 99. So that could be like the other. So let's talk sports card strategy of this, right? You've heard me talk about sending some of these cards to PSA. The other strategy is if it's like Dylan Cruz, who's last year's second overall pick. It's not his first, but it is green out of 99. And it's kind of weird because it's paper, so it's not like a huge card. But I'll probably put that in a one-touch and list it on eBay. I mean, again, I'm trying to, right now, I knew when I decided to do this that I was going to be negative $550 essentially. So what I'm trying to do is just get as close to zero as possible. So the Dylan Cruz card, I mean, it might be worth $5 or $10, and every little bit helps if you're trying to get back to zero. I mean, I might even list some of the Bazanas raw on eBay, although they're probably only going to go for a few bucks. So I think I have better upside if I try to be first to the market with a PSA 10. Braden Montgomery, paper first. I know he's kind of the other prospect that people have called out. Lefty, my co-host here on the Sports Card Strategy Show, has called out that he really likes Braden Montgomery. Another pitcher, chrome green. This looks like a, this is a cool sort of green parallel with like a design in the back. So I don't know what it's called, but it's definitely maybe worth a few bucks, but it's a pitcher. Chandler Welch for the Brewers. So that's not exciting. And like, this is kind of what happens when you rip wax. It's like, yeah, you get X amount of parallels, you get X amount of autos, but who are they? So a lot of times you might get a parallel and it's like, it's worth no more than what the actual, like base paper card of a good player would be because of who the player is. So we've got about 6 packs left. It only takes me a few seconds to go through a whole pack, so we don't have too much more of this. Hoping for, we have not hit our first auto yet here. And as I say that, we hit an auto. So this is a good auto. In that it is out of 50. And so, I mean, not all your autos are going to be low serial numbered autos. So this is Aaron Parker out of 50 auto, a catcher for the Blue Jays. And Aaron Parker was drafted in the 6th round. So he is not a top prospect. This is a very cool card. So now this is an example of a card that I will maybe hope to get $50 for. It might be more like a $20 card. So one of the 3 autos is a $20 card, and that's kind of to be like what you would expect. Which kind of sucks. And that's why I don't rip wax. Like, I'm trying not to be too preachy here, but it is the Sports Card Strategy Show. And I know some of you are probably wondering, why I don't rip wax, why and why I'm doing this right now. It's because this is a brand new release. And I just kind of want to, I want to see, can I piece back my $550 from this hobby box? Because as much as I'm as convicted as I am about my sports card strategy of not ripping wax, it's always good to check yourself. It's always good to just to make sure that you're not missing something. Now, I don't have FOMO when it comes to this stuff. I know a lot of people do. I've trained my brain based on past experiences. The way that my brain works is like, if I get burned from a monetary standpoint, I remember that. And I do not go back to that burner and try to touch it. We've still got 2 more autos that we're likely to get. And no real excitement. We did pull a Christian Moore, 8th overall pick, second baseman for the Angels insert. Typically like the insert, these draft inserts are kind of cool looking. These, I think they might be new this year, but they're not like, they're probably not valuable. They're not short prints or anything like that. Okay. Just a few packs left. Paper, 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 paper. All right. I mean, I have not called Travis Bazzana or Caglianone's name in a while. That's to tell you guys, like, I do, like, none of their cards have come up. So, again, I'm basically filling back up the hobby box that I bought with a bunch of crap cards. And I've got literally like 8 cards that may be worth $5 each. Maybe one that's worth maybe 20 to 50. So you do the math there. It's not close to 500. What people are trying to do is they're trying to gamble and pull a big, like, 1 of 1 or a big, like, Bazzana auto would be like, that would get you your money back, most likely. Even a base auto. Our good friend Aram Layton from justbaseball.com rips a hobby box of a previous year's Bowman draft release at the National every year with Lefty and I, and he gets slaughtered every time. Sorry, Aram, but you get slaughtered every time, and I'm not surprised because that's what happens when you rip wax. This is Brian Holiday. No, obviously no relation to Jackson Holiday because they spell their names differently. He's a pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. This is his first auto, and it's a refractor out of 499. So see how it's a serial numbered out of 499. That means it's just a refractor auto. And I will say that the autographs are cool in this release. They're all on card. So that's pretty sick. So we've got 2 packs left, tracking for 1 auto remaining. Hoping it's like a 1 of 1 Superfractor Bazzana card that would be worth 10 grand. And then this whole ripping wax sucks strategy would be successfully shifted the Cosmos in my favor. Paper, 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 ASMR paper. And Ryan Sloan is our 3rd autograph, which sucks because he is a pitcher for the Seattle Mariners. And maybe, just maybe, there's a buyer somewhere on eBay for one of these 2 pitcher autos, or our guy Aaron Parker, because right now, as expected, we've been slaughtered on our hobby box. Meaning, what does slaughtered mean? It means you spend $550 on something, and what you get back is maybe $50 to $80 back. So you'll lose $500 basically, because honestly, like, I don't want any of these cards. You know, I'm not a collector. Another pitcher. See, that's the other thing. Like, we don't talk enough about this as it relates to ripping wax for baseball. A lot of pitchers. Bryce McCage, out of 499 Aqua paper card. Typically, those aren't worth anything. Boston Bateman, a pitcher, blue out of 150 first non-auto. So, I mean, there's a lot of cards in Bowman draft that are parallels of some of the top guys like Bazzana and Caglianone that aren't autos, that are a step up from the chrome base and all that stuff. And those can be cool. But I highly recommend you go, you know, if you want to make money flipping these cards, what you're going to want to do is buy the singles, but you're going to want to wait. until like July to buy into the singles. I'll talk more with Clark Kim about how to make money on Bowman Draft 2024 on Wednesday's show. So stay tuned for that. We've got one more hobby box to rip today. Maybe since I got slaughtered on my Bowman Draft Baseball 2024 box, that when I open this case of Bowman U Football 2024 and the hobby box I pull out, maybe we'll get a big hit out of that one. We'll be right back with that one. And I've queued up our Bowman U Chrome 2024 from the case that I bought. So 12 hobby boxes in a case. I paid $1,700 including taxes and shipping for the case, which puts my average hobby box cost at about $150 per box. That's about what they're going for on eBay right now. So right now I'm at a break even. I could sell some of these boxes. Some of my 12 I might sell. Some of them I might put up at the nooffseason.com members thank you store. So members of nooffseason.com earn points every time that their membership renews. So when they earn those points, they can accumulate to allow them to redeem them for something in our members only store. And so I might put some hobby boxes in our members only store, which is just an additional thank you to our members. One thing I thought of is, I'm sitting here handling these cards with clean hands, and some of you might be wondering, why don't I wear gloves and that sort of thing? It's because Andy Broom, a friend of mine who is the VP at CGC Cards, the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards, from their crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing. CGC Cards is the perfect stop for your grading needs. Go to cgccards.com to start grading today. Andy Broom told me, don't wear gloves. Just clean your hands and make sure they're dry and no lotion on them or anything like that. That's why you're looking at my dry, crackly hands right now. And for those of you listening on Apple and Spotify, you're not looking, but you're still getting a good podcast episode here. Okay, Bowman Chrome U 2024. Reason I'm ripping one of these right now is because they're only $150 per hobby box, not as expensive as the Bowman Draft, but they do have as much upside as the Bowman Draft, because you've got guys like Ashton Genty in here. You've got guys like Nico Yamaliva in here. You've got guys like Riley Leonard in a Notre Dame uniform. You've got Will Howard in an Ohio State uniform. You've got, Trevor Etienne in a Georgia uniform. I mean, so there's a pretty steep drop off after Genty. But you also have Ryan Williams of Alabama, who's a phenom freshman wide receiver. You don't have Jeremiah Smith, unfortunately, from Ohio State. But you do also have a Luther Burden III, who's projected to be a top draft pick. And so you see Luther Burden III right here. You also have Tetaroa McMillan from Arizona. So, and it's college football playoff time right now, basically. So they just announced the 12-team bracket last week. You've got bowl season coming up. And my strategy here is anything I pull from this box, I'm likely just going to list on eBay, because it's probably a good time to list it with the college football excitement. There's a chance there might be some stuff I would grade out of this. I'm just not sure. We'll see. Let's open it up. It's funny. Tops is telling you to look for Noah Fifita, Brady Cook, Tetaroa McMillan, and Luther Burden autographs. And, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are not in this release. That's another, a strategy would be to go buy those guys singles, because they're not in this release. So they're not getting additional supply added to the market. With every wax ripping, with every release that comes out, and we typically fade the wax ripping there's a sports card strategy opportunity for us to be savvy about fading wax. But let's see if we get slaughtered in this one. Again, basically $150 for this hobby box. There's 4 cards in a pack. And there's 24 packs per box. Jerwan Newton, Toledo wide receiver. Jaquez Moore, Duke running back. These are firsts, too, so these are cool. Silas Bolden, Texas wide receiver. And Xavier Watts, Notre Dame safety. So unlike Bowman draft baseball, these are all chrome cards. Again, it's a fun rip because most of these guys, it's their first Bowman. So another play here is you stash these away to see if they do pop off. Byram Brown, USF quarterback first. Brendan Sorsby, Cincinnati quarterback first. DJ Ugalele absolutely crapped the bed this year for Florida State. This is not his first. It looks like some sort of a not short printed. It looks like some sort of a parallel refractor. Jacoby George, Miami wide receiver first. Jalen Glover, Utah running back first. Nico Yamaliva, insert path to glory. Maybe somebody will want that. I'll probably sell that raw on eBay. So far, getting slaughtered. I think we're looking for 1 autograph per box in these. Let me just look for autographs. That kind of sucks. Like, so there may not be an autograph in all of these boxes. That's interesting. Now, since I bought a case, I should have access to a case hit. Here's my guy, Aiden Childs, Michigan State University first. Antoine Powell Ryland. This is a defensive lineman first. Jerwan Newton, Toledo wide receiver. This looks like a purple sparkle first out of 375. So not sure if that dude's any good, but I'll research him now that I got his purple sparkle out of 375. That's what's kind of fun about this, right? Is like, you know, you get a guy you never heard of, but it's a serial numbered card, and you're all of a sudden you're like, I'll follow this guy. Wonder if he's any good. Just kind of flying through packs here. Drop a comment below. Let me know if you like this kind of show format just every once in a while. Will Howard, base, non-first, in an Ohio State uniform. Ohio State is the 8th seed. They take on Tennessee in the college football playoffs. We got 1 Luther Burden card. It's the 4th card in this pack. We'll see what it's all about. If it's just a base or what. Luther Burden the 3rd, base first. So I like Luther Burden. I just don't know. I mean, maybe that's a gradable card. If it gets a 10, maybe there's some upside. If he does well, it would have to be like he would have to do well in the NFL preseason, I think, for it to have like a selling marker. Riley Leonard, Acropolis insert. I mean, that could sell now. Caleb Johnson, Iowa's running back, not his first. So if it's not their first, it means that they've been in this release before, even if it's in a different college uniform. Probably sell that Riley Leonard on eBay. These are probably 99-cent cards that I've pulled so far. Squirrel White is my auto, and it's serial numbered 2 out of 99. So we get a Squirrel White auto. He is a Tennessee Vols wide receiver. I know Lefty and I actually mentioned him on the Sports Card Strategy show a couple weeks ago. I think mainly just because of his name. But if he is any good, that could be interesting. And some of you who know college football might be yelling at your smartphones right now. But I'm sleeving up my Squirrel White card just in case just in case he's a stud. Maybe that I'm gonna say that's like a $20 card. Unless Squirrel White is any good and or has a phenomenal game. It says Squirrel. Let's see Squirrel White's stats this year. Okay, Squirrel White is a junior. He's 5'10". This year, he had 33 catches for 364 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's not a stud, but he is, it's an interesting card to have at this time of year to potentially list in a buy it now and sell it. So that's going to be my strategy with that Squirrel White card. And look, I mean, if it sells for $50, maybe all of a sudden we've got ourselves something that can get us closer to the cost of our box. That's the goal here. Can we get $150 value out of this? And can we say, we had fun ripping wax and we got our money back. So basically it was free. A lot of firsts, which is cool, but again, a lot of most of these guys aren't going to do anything, and even though it's their first, it's not going to be worth anything. So defensive players you kind of want to ignore. Here's another auto, so that's cool. I got 2 autos in this box. Torrey Horton, Colorado State wide receiver. This is out of 299. Again, I don't know anything about Torrey Horton, but it's good. It could be worse. It's a position player. It's a skill position player on offense. Not a big school. It is serial numbered out of 299, and it is kind of a second bonus auto. So all in all, not a bad box so far when you get 2 autos. Jaleel Farouk out of 299. Aqua out of 299. He is a wide receiver for Oklahoma, but it is not his first. So you get some fun cards in here. Hopefully this is educational. I do like college football, by the way. I do like college football. This release in particular has made me a lot more interested in college football. And in this pack, just a couple of cards that might be able to help us piece back together some money. A Dylan Gabriel just base chrome card in an Oregon uniform, and a Riley Leonard Campus Icons insert. So probably nothing more than, I don't know, a few dollars each in value maximum, but better than nothing. And every little bit helps if we're going to try to piece back together our $150 here. Omarion Hampton is a North Carolina running back. This is a green shimmer out of 99 first. LaShawn Williams, Iowa running back. Saw the Iowa uniform, thought it was a Missouri uniform for a second, thought it might have been Luther Burden on the photo. It was not. Nothing in that pack. Let's go to the next pack. I think my PSA package is here. I'll be right back. All right, that was my PSA package. So that means premium members of nooffseason.com will be getting their cards extra fast. You can grade your cards at nooffseason.com. We submit them to PSA for you. Just join the premium. Here's a Ryan Williams first. I do really like the photo of Ryan Williams' first. And I may have that one graded. Why? Because he's got at least a couple more years at Alabama. And I think that his first PSA 10s could be worth something next year. Cam Ward of Miami, in a Miami uniform. Not a bad card. It's a shame that he's not in the college football playoffs after Miami pooped their pants against Syracuse a couple weeks ago. But maybe, just maybe, that Cam Ward card will sell for like $2 on eBay. And we can, again, I keep saying it, piece together our $150 out of this box. Nothing really in that pack. Got about 5 more packs left. So far, we've been pretty lucky. An extra auto, some serial numbered stuff. Jackson Dart, not his first. Cade Klubnik, not his first. Nick Anderson, campus icon. Will Howard, not his first. I say not his first because it's basically like a second year, third year base card for those guys. Here's DJ Lagway, first. Florida's quarterback. Jaquez Moore, Duke running back. This is a cool blue shimmer out of 175. So that is another card that might sell. Steve Agnelli, first. He looks to be Riley Leonard's backup at Notre Dame. So because it's a big school quarterback, keep like those maybe are cards to stash away. Like Walker White at Auburn, first quarterback. He's another one. Ramblin' Man, Tetsuroa McMillan. Again, not gonna sell for a lot. Tetsuroa McMillan's already been in this release. So this is not his first year. So like a second year insert is not gonna really do much, but calling it out anyway, just so you know. 2 packs left, and then we're going to end the show, but we do have an Ashton Genty. So we have an Ashton Genty base first. So Ashton Genty base first. Is that a card that maybe you send to PSA? Maybe if it tends, maybe it has some value to help us again piece together, blah, 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 back to the 150. I'm going to check what that card's doing raw first. Maybe just sell it raw. And that is it, my friends. So thank you for joining us on this episode of the Sports Card Strategy Show. Oh my gosh, I ripped wax. What is wrong with me? Well, just wanted to test the theory. Do you get slaughtered ripping wax? You do. Do you have fun? Sure. I guess if you don't mind getting slaughtered. Everybody, thanks so much for joining me on this episode of the Sports Card Strategy Show. We'll see you again soon. Have a great day. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. If you enjoyed the content on today's show, there's plenty more waiting for you at nooffseason.com. Just go to nooffseason.com right now and get a free 30-day trial. You get our formula-based sports card rankings, sports card school, inventory tracker, the ability to grade with us, and the premium podcast where we answer an unlimited amount of your questions. Check it out right now at nooffseason.com. For everyone at nooffseason.com, I'm Paul Hickey. Thanks again for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. We'll see you again soon. Have a great day.